They care about care.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Our interviews presented by Marcus and Mack. And this interview with John Wehner of the Pirates Radio Network, sponsored by Diamond Drug and Diamond Medical Supply. And The Rock is on the phone with us right now. Good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Josh. How are you?
Doing excellent, but a little disappointed last night. That was a close game between the Pirates and the O's, and it seems that the Pirates have been losing some close ones recently. So let's talk a little bit about last night's game. A lot of great effort and a lot of good offense shown by the Pirates, just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain about the way this team has swung the bats this spring. They've done a good job hitting. They came out hot last night, scored a bunch of runs early. Unfortunately, the Orioles swung the bats a little bit better. But, we didn't have really many guys that were pitching last night that we're going to see make this big league club. And that's part of spring training, and that's why you kind of take the record with a grain of salt. Losing a spring training game, not that big a deal. So, but you got to, again, be encouraged. The guys continue to swing the bat well. Last night it was Phillip Evans. Phillip Evans with 4 more hits. And an interesting race there. I think Phillip Evans deserves to make this club based on his performance last year, where he was arguably your best hitter before he got hurt. He got in a collision with Polanco, broke his jaw, missed the rest of the season because of it, which was a shame because it was the first really opportunity he had of playing regularly. And so now he's having a good spring this year, but we got Todd Frazier in there, and it's hard for me to imagine that both of those guys make the club. I guess it's possible, but not probable. And Frazier, the veteran, they really like. Evans, again, hitting the ball very well. They kind of have similar roles in terms of what they can do for you defensively. And, we'll see what happens with that one. I mean, obviously, opening day just 6 days away.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make some decisions here soon.
One of those decisions is going to have to be the starting rotation, and 2 of the big names out of the lineup. Blake Setterland, gone, Tommy John surgery, at least 14 months. Stephen Brault resting his arm for a month. Those injuries couldn't have come, though, at a worse time because you're getting ready, you're getting into the groove, getting ready to start the season, and then, bam, 2 of your major names in the rotations are gone. So yeah. Talk about who's going to have to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Blake Setterland for sure. A young, promising guy, throws up to 100 miles an hour. Now you're going to lose him for probably a year and a half. So you're looking at 2023. Oh no, maybe next year. The end of next year, you'll probably get to see him. So the end of 22, probably not before the All-Star break though. And with Brault, it's a shame. Brault got hurt last spring training down here in Florida, but because of the pandemic, he didn't miss any time. So again, it's back-to-back years. In March, he ends up with a shoulder problem, and hopefully he could be back, in a month or month and a half. But they're saying it could be as long as 10 weeks, which takes you into almost mid-season. So half the year, that will hurt because he did a nice job last year, especially towards the end of the season. I think he pitched the ball or threw the ball as well as he ever has. And so that's a loss because the rotation this year, you're going to need a bunch of starters to pitch a bunch of innings. Cause, with the short season last year, just 60 games, you're going to 160. And normally you like to see your pitchers give you 150 to 200 innings. This year, I don't think anybody's given you 150 innings. So you're going to need more depth in terms of starters. So this team might need 10, 15 starters by the end of the year. And that's where, you hope Brault gets healthy and he can help the second half of the season. But certainly, anytime you're losing pitching, it's going to hurt you, especially this year.
Do you see anybody in the bullpen maybe being promoted to being a starter to help out with that cause? Or do you see other starters maybe picking up more work as these guys continue to recover, especially Brault?
They're stretching some guys out already. We're looking at right now Mitch Keller, J.T. Brubaker, Chad Kuhl, Tyler Anderson, who pitches today. So those are the 4 for sure that are in the rotation. Then behind that, Trevor Cahill, who they just signed, he also pitches today. I don't know if he gets stretched out fast enough. Miguel Yajure, who we got from the Yankees, is a promising young guy. Will Crow, who we got from the Nationals in the Josh Bell trade, has looked good. Chase DeYoung kind of come out of nowhere and has pitched great this spring. So there's your other options as far as once you get past 4 starters. There's 4 or 5 more guys that can jump in there into the rotation if need be. And I'm sure we'll see all of them at some point in time this year. Don't forget about Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer the Pirates signed. Who knows? I don't know how long it's going to take him to get ready. Knuckleballers usually don't take long, but he's another guy that might pop into the rotation at some point in time.
Yeah, elder statesman, though, so it may take him a while to warm up. In fact, Chuck Clark was going to ask me to ask you about him. Let's move on now to another position that I think is in need of some stability, shortstop. Cole Tucker sent down to the minors, but if you look at the stats, Cole may not have played as many games, but Kevin Newman, Eric Gonzalez hitting better than him. Do you kind of see the two of them rotating at shortstop throughout the season, or is there going to be one solid guy at shortstop for the Bucks at the start of the season?
I think that they would like to see one guy getting most of the playing time. They'll both play at short. As far as I'm concerned, Eric Gonzalez is probably the stronger defensively. I think he covers more ground. I think he's better defensively. He's hit 400 this spring. Kevin Newman's hitting 727. He wins the job. I don't care who you are. If you bat 700 or better, you win the job.
Yeah.
So my guess is, we're going to start the season with Kevin Newman as the starting shortstop and Eric Gonzalez, who he's a valuable guy. Again, a good glove. He can play anywhere in the infield and he can play in the outfield. And so that's pretty valuable to have. We'll see him get playing time. My guess is in many different roles. And it's nice to see him swing the bat better, but Newman has proven that he can hit like he did his rookie year where he hit over 300, and last year where he struggled with the bat was a fluke. So, my guess is Newman gets the lion's share of play at short.
All right, so Newman looks to be a lock there. Center fielder is another position that the Pirates, I think, may need a little bit of stability. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Who's competing for that job?
The 3 guys out there, Brian Goodwin, who's a veteran who's been around and had a pretty decent season a couple years ago at the Angels. He hit like 17 or so home runs with Anaheim. The most, I guess, the older statesman, the guy with the most experience. The other 2 are younger, Anthony Alford and Dustin Fowler. Those 2, actually all 3 of them, are skill-wise are pretty similar. They all can run. They can all man center field. They all have some power in their bat. And so I would have said 2 weeks ago it was a toss-up, and maybe I was leaning towards Goodwin. Last week maybe I would say Alford. This week I'm saying Fowler. And the reason I'm saying Fowler this week is basically the lineup on Wednesday. We had Moran at first, Adam Frazier at second, Newman at short, Ke'Bryan Hayes at third, Jacob Stallings behind the plate, Reynolds in left, Polanco in right, and Fowler in center. It looked like an opening day lineup to me.
So you're thinking Fowler for center field, F? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that was any indication or not, but Fowler was in there with what looked like opening day lineup, and so he's a young guy that hit 25 home runs a couple of years ago in AAA. I think they want to see what he possesses. We got a little bit of a look of Anthony Alford last year before he got hurt. The question will be: if do they carry another one of those guys? Do 2 of those 3 guys make the team, with one getting more playing time than others? I mean, or does just one, the starter, make the team? That's going to be a question.
Rock, it's the end of training camp. You know the mindset of the players. You play the game. You know what's going through their minds as camp is about to break. Talk about what is going through the players' minds as they get ready to make their way back up north.
Well, the guys that are regulars that have played regularly in the major leagues, they just can't wait till next Thursday to play real games. They just can't wait to get on the plane and get this season started. It's a long camp for those guys. The guys that I know what they're feeling like are the guys that don't know that they made the team, and they're a nervous wreck. They want to know where they're going. They're having trouble staying asleep at night because they're waking up wondering, am I making this club? Where should I send my bags? Where does my family go? Am I staying here in Florida? Am I going to pack my bags for Indianapolis? Am I going to Pittsburgh? That gets nerve-wracking because you just want a decision one way or the other. You don't want to wait till the last day. You want to know, where you're heading. And even though most of these guys that are left in camp, I think they still have to make 11 cuts. Most of these guys will get playing time and will get to the big leagues at some point in time, but you want to be on the line when the national anthem's sung on opening day. I mean, I think it's a big deal to make an opening day roster. And, and so it's a little nerve-wracking this time of year. You want to get on that plane with the big league club and head to Chicago. And so these are the last week of the season are always, or the last week of spring training is always the most nerve-wracking, I think, for the guys that, are pushing for a bench job or a bullpen job.
All I'll say is pass the antacid. Thanks a lot. John, thank you very much for joining us here on Indiana in the Morning. Of course, we'll be listening to you all season long here on WCCS, your home of the Bucks. Thanks again for being a part of Indiana in the Morning, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, appreciate it, Josh. Have a good weekend.
You too. John Wehner of the Pirates Radio Network joining us on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Our interview with the Pirates Radio Network brought to you by Diamond Drug and Diamond Medical Supply.